in the studio today. We've got a special guest. Never met him until this morning until we burnt the crap out of the bacon. But I'm sitting here with Greg Burnett. How you doing, man?
That was really good bacon, Dave. Flame broiled.
Flame broiled. There's still a buzzer going off in the alarm.
It's still in the background.
And then producer Rob's here.
Yeah.
Rob decided to sit behind the camera today, so Rob's here as usual. On Saturday mornings, it's flapjacks and bacon time. We had to punt and go with ham. It wasn't bad.
It was decent ham.
It was decent ham, but the bacon had flames coming out of the oven. Greg looks at it and he goes, I think something's on fire. And so we open up the door and Jesus, flames come flying out. I had to wipe the whole front of the thing down.
Oh, it wasn't just flames. It was like flames.
So we got it to the backyard and, pretty much all the animals ran for cover. So, yeah, the bacon didn't work out. That was, gosh darn it, that was Jimmy Dean bacon.
Well, I'm sure we could have tried it if you wanted to, but it was a little bit charcoaly, a little bit overdone.
Rob knows I have burnt the bacon a few times, but not like that.
Yeah, that was fun.
Now, how am I going to take? We have a big open house party tonight, and the stove's down there going beep, beep. Still, it's been up for an hour.
Well, I ate half your fudge already, so it's going to be probably a really bad open house.
So what did you think? Can you come to Browntown, and you're going to do a podcast we've never met? We're having bacon/ham, pancakes, but I made fudge last night for the party, and so you're having orange juice, fudge, pancakes, and ham.
Well, I can tell you that I don't like boring. So I think if stories are made by things that don't go the way they're supposed to go.
Yeah.
And that didn't go the way it's supposed to go, which makes it that much more fun. We'll be talking about that again.
Yeah, we will.
So why not? I love it. I love that you bring the bacon and bring the house down that close.
Well, Rob knows that I am quite random. Judy and I, when we travel, we come up to a place in Texas a couple years ago, and it's like in the movie with Tom Hanks in the movie Castaway.
Yep.
And
Wilson.
It in the movie, and he pulls up that intersection, and we're literally there in Texas.
Yeah.
There's nothing for miles, and we pull up to the intersection, and we're in our car because we had traveled 49 days around the country through road tripping. And I get out of the car. Don't tell Judy I'm doing this. I get out of the car. I take the keys because you never know. You don't want to lock the keys in your car, especially in that intersection. And I walk out, and it's kind of like it's not paved, but it's not. It's kind of gravelly, kind of good road. But it's not like straight up bad gravel. And I get out and I get in the middle of the intersection. I'm looking right, I'm looking left, looking straight ahead. And Judy goes, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Castaway, Tom Hanks." I go, "We've been that way." And we try to take side roads wherever we can. You guys take side roads because you end up at the coolest places ever. And it's not McDonald's on the main freeway. It's the side roads, the little towns, the little shops you see. And Judy comes and she stands out there and she does this. She looks and she's buying into the little skit that nobody knows we're doing. And she goes, "Let's go that way." We just turn, we go right. We go about 20 miles. We go in this little town. A lot of cars in the parking lot, a little diner.
Yeah.
Because we hate going to fast food restaurants. We pull in, go in the diner, and people are going, "Darling, how you doing?" So we get in there, they got the Texas stuff going. The nicest people ever. Great. There's like probably 2 p.m, so we just have like a lunch, type thing. And that's how we roll. We do a lot of random. We've snuck into Vanderbilt, Stanford University, athletic facilities. We're at Notre Dame, Rob's big college.
Similar souls there, right there.
Huh?
Similar souls right there. I love sneaking into things. I love getting the unexpected. You don't ask permission, you just do it.
Yeah. And when you're older, you get a little more leeway.
Yeah.
And if you dress a little nicer, you get
What's the worst they can say? No? Get out?
Yeah. Pretty good. So, well, anyway, stand tall with Dave Brown. We're here on today, and we're going to start right off, which we don't do very much, but we're asking you to go to Apple CarPlay and go to
Spotify,
Google,
Apple Podcasts.
Rob, you keep jumping in there with stuff. And you know what we really need? We've been pretty lax about asking. Hit likes, hit the button, and even if you don't listen to the whole thing, hit those over and over and over and over. Anybody that's out there doing any type of podcasting, I do all the reels on Instagram, TikTok, and it's just fun. Sometimes reels take off, Greg, and sometimes they don't. We've had them go up to 15 million, and we've had them go to 111. So. But I want to focus.
Let's see if we can have a good one today.
Huh?
We'll have to find some spot where it's like just out of the blue, just do a really good stuff for real.
Yeah, we'll do. We got the thing right here where it's at. Yeah, this thing we'll do a real.
Fantastic.
But Greg, you to our sponsor, 1776. You have a major role in that. But you have a lot of background when it comes to politics. You've been all over the world. You're married to somebody from another country. Give us just a brief background on you.
I mean, I grew up in a really small town. I'm actually Banks, Oregon, right? You know, it was 490 people, and then we were 3.5 miles out north of that, and we had 4 adopted brothers and sisters, so a family of 9 people out there on a little farm, 7 acres. That's going way too far back here.
Banks Braves, right?
Banks Braves, baby.
Yep.
That's right. So we did that, and got walked for Reagan, and supported him. I say when I was 9 years old, and kind of into politics. The first paper I wrote for school was Reagan Gorbachev Summit, ISIN Summit.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's kind of a dork political time I was a kid. I think it was like 84 or something. Worked family business. Did a lot of volunteering for politics during high school and all the way afterwards, and started an agency and mostly what I did, my way of giving back, because I didn't have time to do the walks and knocks as I did as a younger person, and we volunteered our agency to do like TV, radio buys back in the days, right? Sold the business in '99, went overseas, worked in the Danish Parliament, a little bit there.
Wait a minute, time out. How do you go from being like running a small ad agency and then all of a sudden you're working for the Danish government?
Well, I went to school over there. The intern.
Okay.
I was a nobody. It was. It certainly wasn't. I don't want to make it sound like a big job. It was more of a fun, interesting job. It certainly wasn't prestigious. It was fun and cool stories. But we had worked for a guy that I think it was the Venstre Party, which would be the Danish for left, but it was actually their version of right. So he was like one of the most conservative candidates, and one of his things was foreign ambassador to Russia. So we went back and forth to St. Petersburg and Moscow a few times, and during that time in Europe, I did traveled around a lot and attended protests as a student journalist in social movement theory. So it gave me the excuse to go to protests, not whether I agree or disagree with the cause, but to say, embed myself in who are these people, what drives them, where are they going, what makes successful protests and social movements and not. So I've been in protests in Prague and Berlin and Hamburg and Dublin and London and Amsterdam and so on. And anytime there was something organization going, I would contact them and find weasel my way in. It was fun. It was very interesting. Learned a lot. Came back, worked for Pamphlet Media, had my agency as well going. Did a ton of campaigns between 2000 and 2010. Started full service agency in 2009, as it was. Since then, it's been Burnett Media Group doing that. And
by the way, I met Mr. Pamplin through tennis one time.
He's a big tennis guy.
His daughter, they had their own private court
Yep.
on the hill. I got to do a few lessons there for people, and his daughter's pretty good.
Oh, wow.
Connected to Lewis Park. But anyway,
Yeah, and then many times. And then I'm trying to shorten it up here a little bit, but the fast forward, worked did that agency for a while there. I've always been involved in politics. I've never had less than 60-70% of my business be policy-oriented or political-oriented or issue-oriented of some kind, mostly around education of kids.
Okay.
That's been my thing, school choice for a long time, anything to do with, school board elections, schools, local elections. Met my wife. She was my banker, actually. So she's Moldovan, and we've been married 11 years now. We have a 3-year-old son in northern Idaho. Moved there in 2020, but grew up, born and raised in Oregon. Most of my political elections have been here. During that 2010 to now, I've been really pushed in towards how do I do more in education and local politics. So pretty much everything I've done and everything I've taken has been somewhat strategic to try to get better and better.
How did you, though, again, interrupting you, how did you end up in Bimdick, Idaho, when you're trying to do all social media for more metro area or more of the population throughout the year? I mean, you're way up there. So I'm kidding on the Bimdick, but it's you're out.
I'm in a little town of Hope. It's I'm like on kind of the northeast part of Lake Pend Oreille, outside of Sandpoint, about 20 miles outside of Sandpoint, and it's absolutely heaven. We look out at the most beautiful view in the world. It's incredible. And I get more accomplished there than here.
Okay.
It's like a war room, right? With the world of, we didn't move there until there was fast internet. My dad went to Hope grade school. I could see the school from right around my front deck, just around the corner. My mom and dad were met there when they were teens, and
you had a connection of that.
Oh, my whole family's out of Sandpoint area. So when we went to move, we actually bought the house sight unseen because during that craziness, and we missed a few houses, and then found the one. Bought it, then drove up the next day because we knew that town so well. It's a tiny little area. We're I know exactly where that is. I know that house. Let's go. And it was so it's something where we definitely grew up going there.
Now, Ludmila, how did she react? Did she grow up in Moldova?
Yep.
Because our friend Ludmila,
Same, Ludmila. Yep.
and they'll be here tonight for our open house
Yep.
Christmas party. But how did she look at that place there? I'm sure she'd been in the bigger cities around.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden, how did it compare for her to Moldova, where she grew up?
Well, her parents have joined us
Just
a few times. Yeah, it's actually a really cool story. We've been lucky enough to have her parents come over here a few times, and we've gone back there. In fact, just got back about 5 weeks ago from there, and taking my 3-year-old back there to meet the in-laws for the first time. But she definitely grew up. I mean, she was like Soviet Union. I mean, her dad was in government for 40 plus years. His office is right there next to the president's, right down the hall. He was in the agriculture department, industry area. So they had the driver, they had the special stores growing up, they had the government class life. It's definitely, she saw the differences between her and her friends and how they were treated, and how the equality of Soviet Union certainly wasn't equal. All pigs aren't equal, right? It's and so she definitely had that. She was a conservative by birth. When she got here, she was all the way I met her. She was that way. She's definitely got more involved. But as far as the culture, she absolutely loves it. She's like, it feels like she'll tell me a story. She's like, I wake up here, and I have dreams about how this is like my third life I've been here. She's like, I was here in a former life. This is like my home. I feel like I've been around the world, and this is where I feel the most comfortable.
Cool.
So she loves it. I mean, Moldova is flat, rolling hills and farmland. Her parents, it was amazing. I mean, real quick on this one. Her parents, when they were here, and very modest. I mean, even middle class there, you're talking the average income's like $300-400 a month. So it's the poorest country in Europe by far. Oh yeah, I mean, it's the lifestyle is not even remotely. They'd be considered poverty here. Your upper middle class would be poverty here because they'd be on welfare. It is absolutely not a rich country. It's a farm country. But so when they came here, I'm like, I'm going to show them the flashy things. We took them to Vegas. We took them to Hawaii. We took them to Pendleton Roundup and everything. And, different places we went all around. Yeah. Every trip we do something really cool. And what it came back to is her dad would pull over and take pictures of the mountain, Mount Hood. He would get out to take a picture of a tall tree, a farm that we drove by. So what impressed him was not, even though they were shocked by some of the things, it was nature.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a farmer by birth, by DNA. And so here I am trying to impress him with these cool big city things. And he was, look at the tree. I want to see that thing. That's huge. That's crazy.
The reason I relate to that is because when I was a kid, my dad worked on a salt ships in Portland. And the company in Newburgh here, where we live, had the small D3 cats. And they would take them into Portland and put them in the big salt ships from the West Indies.
Okay.
And they would push all the salt. It would get unloaded to be manufactured here in the Northwest. And so I remember my dad called my mom up one day, same thing you're talking about. And my mom and dad had no money. They were very hardworking, but no money. And my dad told my mom, Millie, I got 3 guys I'm going to bring home from the salt ship because it's 4th of July weekend.
Yeah.
And I got nothing to do. Yeah. I'm not going to leave them here. And so my dad was a 6'3.5" Swede. They pull up in a yellow 65 Chevy pickup, brand new. And my dad's first truck he had new. And he pulls up, and I'm out shooting baskets in the driveway, and there's 3 of the blackest people I'd never seen a black person to this point, except on TV. And in our household, there was no color coding ever. My mom, dad, everybody was welcome in our home. But I'm sitting there looking, going, wow. So I meet all these 3, Olivier, Clarence, and Oliver. And they get out of the truck with my dad, and they're all average-sized guys, maybe 5'10" to 5'11". And so I'm like, man, I can't wait to see what my mom says. Because there's no black people in Newburgh at this point, 1960,
sure.
65. And so we walk in the house. My mom doesn't even speak. She's 5'3", Canadian, played hockey in high school. And she just walks up, comes up, gives them a big hug, and she goes, how you guys doing? She goes, I got dinner ready. And they're just like, looking. And they were, people from the West Indies, Barbados, are very black.
Yeah.
So there's black, and then there's just very black. And they're the nicest guys. And so we sit down and have this big, dinner. They wanted to go see Mount Hood. So what you're saying, they want to see the tree, they want to see snow.
Yeah.
St. Paul Rodeo.
Yeah,
You might as well go to the Queen of England. People are like going 8-10 feet out. We got black people walking at us in St. Paul Rodeo. This has never happened.
Yep.
And I'm like looking around, and at 8, I'm picking up on all of the people vibes that were going on. Yeah. And of course, they already knew. And so we talked about this every 6 months for my whole entire childhood. They would come in and they would talk to me about being black here as a guest, being black and being in Barbados, and but it was a tree for your
Trees and mountains. Yeah, it was nature.
Snow.
Yeah, snow. In fact, they were mad because they were here last winter and we didn't have much snow.
Oh,
And so they were like, and then so this year it's snowing a lot, and they're like, we missed it. But they, I remember she mentioned the roadie. We took them to the Pendleton Roundup. That was her mom was a retired school teacher, and taught geography, and so the idea of cowboys and Indians is mythical. I mean, as we think about it, it's like, yes, we grew up with this, but it's mythical for them. So we took them to Pendleton Roundup. And that first we're standing there, and a Native American Indian comes around the corner on a horse in full, and she about lost it, like shaking. I can't believe that's an Indian in front of me. And then cowboys. She went and talk. She's like, I need to go talk to them. And of course, I didn't speak any English at any time. And I'm a Royal Rosarian, so I was marching in the parade. This is funny, but if you know the intent, it was hilarious. But as I'm coming by there's a group of Indians in front of us, full gear, and here's my wife's mom standing there, and she's doing this to all of them as they're going by, and I'm just like mortified for half a second because she's like she's so excited, and she's like showing them how much she loves them, and she's doing that.
oh God.
So it was like I had to let her do it because she was so happy.
Yeah, burst the bubble.
But I was, growing up, we adopted 4 kids when I was 7, and they were it's a group of it was a family of they're all brothers and sisters. They're Mexican, and we had a church, Dayspring Christian Fellowship and Banks Christian Academy, later on Christian School. But pretty much all of there's like 4 or 5 families that were kind of all close in that church. All of them adopted at the same time. So in this little town of 490 people, pretty much all my friends are minorities. Pretty much the only minorities in the town at that time. So I had like 4 Mexican brothers and sisters. One of my closest friends was Black Vietnamese with cerebral palsy. We had Korean, Black. You get the idea. It was our group in our church. Everybody had kids that were minorities.
Well, I mean, Greg, Rob and I talk about this a lot. Rob's traveled a lot more than I have, and Rob, you can jump in here anytime too. Something he's been around the world, lived more in the St. Louis area, so more in the East atmosphere, and so it's fun to hear about that through Rob. Page also lived back that way quite a bit, to our weekday producer. But people are always the most interesting to me, and I think like tonight we're doing the open house. You know why we're doing it?
No.
There's just a lot of people who don't get invited to anything. We get invited to all kinds of stuff. We've been to more Christmas parties. I was at one last night, and I spoke to the our local county politic one. And
so this is a community thing. We just invited the community.
Yeah,
that's great.
So tonight it's just like a lot of people that we know. Like there's people you do know, like Rob and Paige are both invited. If they can come by for 5 minutes or stay the whole time, we don't care. We'll have pickleball. We'll have pickleball court in the backyard. We'll have a fire pit. We'll have
so you're
5
you're in the
crowns.
pickle pool. Huh? You're in the pickle pool.
I'm not really. I'm a tennis guy, but
you got your own court.
Pickleball's like
that's pretty coldish.
It's okay. Tennis is way more difficult. It's fun. So we'll have a lot of interesting things. We'll have different beverages for everybody's got different taste.
Yeah,
they like.
That's great.
So I'm working on my version. It's called a volley, which is more like a mixed fruity drink. You get maybe like a mama sorta.
Huh.
And I got it all. You got to wire that in for more people. But we're inviting people that don't get invited over to stuff.
That's cool.
Because when I'm out talking to different people or whatever, I'm always saying invest in other people, invest in other people, invest in other people. It's like we talk about Dana a lot. Yeah. I look forward to my conversations with Dana every day because it's always upbeat.
I've never heard the other way around, man. I'm with you. And it's definitely you get on the phone, you're like, typically I meet people that don't match my energy, and he eclipses me.
I set my alarm now because he gets up like at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And so I'll set my alarm for 4:30, and he usually calls me around 8, 9.
Yeah.
And I'll set my alarm for 4:30, and I'll walk out here so I don't wake you up. I'll go, he'll wake up and go, Dane, this is Dave Brown. How you doing, man?
Yeah.
He's like, what? And then I sit there, we talk for a few minutes, and I go back to bed. Yeah. But it's just, Rob knows this too.
What a good guy.
We love to tease.
Yeah.
There's nothing off limits. And I think that's why I said to you downstairs. It's not personal, it's business. And so moving towards the political side of all this, I think 2 things I wanted to have you address. We talked a little bit about this outbreak, but one is it's not personal, it's business. And the second one is I think there's always about 5 steps that people just don't know when it comes to homeschooling your kid, investing money in the stock market. What kind of car do I buy? What should I do politically? And I think a lot of people out there, no fault of their own, because I'm in the same boat with certain things too. A kindergarten education of, say, how to fix my stove today before the party starts. What do I do?
Yeah.
And I think when it comes to politics, so how do you look at that with? It's not being personal, but you obviously have a good sense of humor. Politics is a rough sport.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
It's a blood sport. If you're playing it right, it's a blood sport. I would say, when the purge happens, if they're knocking on my door first, then I wasn't loud enough, right? I mean, I want to make noise, and definitely that takes a thick skin at sometimes. I mean, there's been, if you've been around this game and especially in Oregon, it's a small world, right? It's all small worlds, and it's nothing different in other states than it is here. Everybody goes to war with somebody with some time, and everybody has their things with other people. I think I learned long ago that I don't care.
Right. I'm
a transactionalist. I'm the old Dan Bongino rule, where it's like if we're moving the football 1 yard down the field together, you're my friend. If you're not, you're not my friend. And I'm here to get some good things done. I'm here to get some big things done, and I'll be nice. I'm a nice guy, I think. But if something is, as long as you're going the same direction as me, I am absolutely your best friend. And there's been people I've worked on in campaigns over the years that absolutely probably hate me. I don't know. I get the impression they might, but we'll work on campaigns together. And I have the conversation with them going, whatever you think of me, throw it at me, man. I'm good with that.
I mean, I'm pretty good with you right now. Rob kind of said something to me earlier.
You don't hate me yet.
But I can also read Rob like a book, and I know he asks great questions. And so Rob's behind the camera today, but Rob, when you're ready, raise your hand up, because I know you've got a big question in here.
Well, I do, and I'll try to scream it so people can pick it up, and you might have to repeat it for the
You
podcast.
want the mic?
No, I don't want to interrupt the picture. So we talked earlier about activism and how it's kind of changed, and you use that word,
Yeah.
and now is it a badge of honor? Is it a scourge? Like, how do how has that whole image of being an activist changed in the past 15 years?
Sure, that's a really good question. I mean,
Thank you. I wanted to, Dave, that was the best question of the day, just so you know.
That was the best question of the day. No, it's you're asking me in recent years about how activism has changed over the years, and it has changed in my life for certain. One thing I'm president of Western, first president of Operation 1776, proud to be part of that with Dane, and proud that they're part of this program as well. I think it's fantastic. I mean, he talks about you guys all the time. I mean, all the time. So he adores you, and so he's a big man out of respect. So also president of Western Liberty Network with Rich Burke and those guys. A lot in Oregon, you would know him. And that's training people basically to be activists, first-time people, right? People that are just moms and dads and young people and old people and people that are just like, what do I do to make a difference in this world? And you find out politics is local, politics is small, politics and the most effective politics is small. It's 40% of your money ish goes to local. Taxes go to local politics and go to local issues and local services. So it's not DC that controls how your schools are doing. It's not DC that controls your gas prices. It's not DC that controls your grocery prices for the most part, or all the states will be the same.
Yeah.
And they certainly aren't. So, and it even localized, right? Things are a lot higher price in one city than another city, and so on. It is local politics that controls the most things that happen in your life. Activism, to go back to your question, is, I would say where we were going with that earlier is that it used to be, and maybe it's just a little bit nostalgia, but this is part of social movement, right? In the early, back when I was first starting this, it was, we're all kind of had that same DNA. We're all Americans. We're all going the same direction. Some of us were more conservative or more liberal, but we all kind of wanted the same thing. We're all capitalists. We're all American. We had that red, white, and blue DNA. And some of us just want a bigger government, smaller government, more welfare, less welfare, those kind of things. That has changed. And activism now is definitely divided farther on ideological grounds than it's ever been before. And I would say, especially for the politicization of schools over the last 40 years, where politics was off limits in classrooms when I grew up. And there's no way you'd ever have a teacher stand up there talking about their pronouns or talking about their politics or trashing the president ever. Don't care who it would be. Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. You would never see that in classrooms. And we see that now, not just not just a lot, but in every single subject, every single day. You could not attend a public school and private school, for that matter, without being fully indoctrinated into a political structure. They might couch it as something else, and they might try to say that it's just social or other things, but it absolutely is politics, and it does impact who we are. And we've seen that divide dramatically. So what it's done for me is, for lack of a better term, radicalized me in saying that we have to get this changed.
I want you to touch on that because it was a great question, Rob. It was the third best question. We just had a poll done on that one, but it was
Is
good.
that third?
They can vote online.
But you said something downstairs earlier that, if you don't mind, like your conversation with your sister. I have the same exact sister. Her name is Judy. She's like my wife. She's my favorite, relative besides my wife. She is always my guardian angel. She's very liberal. I'm very conservative, and we try to stay away from politics.
Yeah.
You had a similar situation with your sister. Her name had to be Judy, right? No,
not Judy. I have 4 sisters, so I can talk about my sister without knowing what sister it was.
Good move, good move. But I would give anything to make sure my sister is okay. And we've lost,
Same, love mine dearly.
We've lost 3 siblings.
Yeah.
4. Oh. Well, 3. One we just don't know about. But you had a conversation with your sister, and you decided to take a certain approach. And I listened to that because I'm like, I like that. So you might say that again?
Sure, yeah. It was, we always had this little, for the most part, I grew up in a family that politics and religion were off the table, right? Those are things you don't talk about over the dinner table, not polite company. And I always argued with my mom on this one, and my dad too, but my mom and I used to joke about this every once in a while, because we get heated suddenly, right? People get angry, you get defensive. I always argued with her, especially on religion, because she was very much a Christian woman. We started church and all this sort of thing. And she's like, we just don't talk about those things. And I go, gosh, that's kind of the 2 most important things in our life, isn't it? So why would we avoid that? I mean, politics impacts everything we do, and it's tied directly to religion for sure. I mean, our morality base and so on. And we're talking about, if we can't, I'm like, my mom, I go, this is our eternal salvation, our eternity we're talking about. You're telling me we can't talk about that? You don't think that's the most important thing? So that was off limits. So one of my big disagreements all this time was, why can't we talk about this? And if we can't talk about it, something's wrong. We should be able to openly talk about it. So my sister all this time, she's very left. I'm very right. Okay. And it's always, every time, it's typically those passive aggressive comments, a little quote here, looking for just poke. And I just shut my mouth usually. So I'm like, well, off limits rule, right? We finally had a long phone discussion, and she was doing the poke thing every once in a while, like just making things, knowing that she's going to get a reaction out of me. And finally I said, hey, do you want to go there? And she's like, I'm taking the gloves off if we do, but I'll be respectful. I love you. And we had this it was a very long conversation. It was a good one. It's actually impacted me for a long time. I thought about it hundreds of times since, honestly. And it was a very good conversation. But it got heated at times about how she thought this was extremely wrong, that I believed this, and I was just really just off base, and I would say the same thing to her and tell her why. And it was a good conversation. But in the end, it was one of those, she's like, well, how do you want to leave this? And because I'm like, it's time to stop talking about it. And we weren't getting too many places, obviously. And I go, well, let me guess what you're going to say. You're going to say, hey, we're 2 good people. We want the same things, and we just disagree on how to get there. Because that's what I've heard all my life, and that's probably where you go. She's like, well, yeah, we do want the same things. And I go, and went through several issues, and I go, you mean like things like, so you're going to say like, hey, we both want the best education for our kids, so we're both good people, as an example. And she's like, exactly. And I go, Pam, you don't want the same thing as I do. Because what you think is a good education for your kids is everything I'm trying to stop, is what I think is destroying our kids. So let's be honest. You don't want the same things as I want. And I need to tell you, sister, I said, I need to tell you that, and this is what I told her. I said, what motivates me every day is you and other people like you. Conversations like this is, I get up in the morning, and I swear to you, this is true. I get up in the morning and I think about people like you, and I say, I'm going to do everything I can today to destroy everything that you love. Because everything you love destroys everything that I love. And I think if I win, you're better off. If you win, we're all gone. And what she is supporting causes human misery, and she has the best of intentions, and she's a wonderful person. She's highly intelligent, and I just think she's wrong.
Yeah.
And so my part of my motivation, a big part of my motivation, whether she knows it or not, probably does now, but is that what drives me is that I need to destroy everything that people like her love, and if I can acknowledge that personally, and so many people on the right won't do that. It's so much respect that we're willing to take the sword because we're gonna die with respect.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, we got to win this, because if we lose this battle, what do we have?
Well, I really like this, and I want to, this is probably where we hang a left. Rob, raise your hand. I know you got another question.
No,
It won't be a great question, but Rob will have a question.
It'll be the top question of the day, guaranteed.
You guys have to know how much I love Rob. Rob is, it's every Saturday. We very seldom miss, Greg. We very seldom miss our Saturdays, and that's why we want to grow, stand tall, to be bigger. So there's some advantages, for
Fantastic.
it. And so Rob has more options too. Yeah. And the thing about, because he's passionate, we just come, and it's fun to come at it from different angles, because, like, for example, Rob's Catholic and I go to A.T. Creek Christian Church, and up right up the street we have his Catholic church, and they're building a brand new sanctuary, and Lucy, our dog, is growing up there, and so we call Lucy our Catholic dog because she's growing up there playing. And so as soon as that new sanctuary is done, I want to go with Robin and Amanda, and we want to go. Gina want to go. We go visit any place. So anyway, back to this thing about men, though, because I've met a lot of men, and what I say when I go speak to groups of people, the first time I did this was in Central Oregon, and I had about 300 people, and I waited all day before I'm the last guy. I'm the keynote speaker, right? I'm listening to all these people up and down, mostly kind of whining. And it was a right-leaning crowd for sure, and it was at a big church, but it was like a political thing. And so finally I get up there, and I'm like, I took my notes, and I just threw them all away. And I'm thinking, because some of the stuff was similar to what was being talked about. And I stood up there, and I decided to dress like this. I took off my nice clothes, went in the bathroom about half hour before, and I'm wearing a yellow tennis sweatshirt, Newberg tennis, because I coach tennis, and it's a very bright yellow, and I'm wearing just jeans. So I put my nice clothes in, and so everybody else was dressed up a little bit. I want to be different. And we got guys up there in coveralls, we got guys in suits, we got ladies in dresses, we got ladies just wearing everyday clothes. And so I get up there and I stood there and I looked at everybody and I go, I need all the men to stand up. And I'm getting all these looks, and everybody just kind of freezes. That's the first thing I said. And I said, no, I need every man to stand up. And a few guys started to stand up, and I go, come on now, I need every single man to stand up right now. And as you get older, you get a little more leeway with people. So they all stand up, all the men, they're all standing there. And I said, I'm not going to ask you to salute me or anything like that. But I want to say that the men of this country right now, especially in Oregon, we're just a bunch of wusses.
Yep.
And I said, I'm saying that word because there's other words I'd like to use that I won't use here.
What's wrong with us?
But we're just laying over and we're not doing anything. And I said, where I'm coming from up in Newberg, Oregon, it's like 85, 90% of the people, Rob and I have talked about this, that are in this woke movement are women.
Yep.
And they're the ones stirring the pot with constant stuff. Now, women have 1,000 more skills than men in most areas, but they are more drama-filled, and they are more apt to emotions and things like that. The bad part is those emotions have turned into very toxic stuff. And so I said, well, I need you guys to stand up. Why in the world would you why don't all 300 of you men march right into Redmond on Monday, and you go tell that superintendent and that principal, there's no way in frick we're allowing boys and girls locker rooms. I said, I can't even believe that I even have to say it to you.
Yeah.
And
everyone agrees, but there's not doing anything about it.
I said, you're not doing anything about it. I said, would you let somebody come up at the store and just slap your wife? Yeah. I don't think so. Yeah. And if you did, you should be flogged. Yeah. You should be ashamed of yourself. I mean, you got to protect your women, because that's what women want. They want stronger men. So how do you look at this and where you've been? Because you've been in protests all over the world. You've seen different cultures. You're married to somebody from a very different culture. And I have a little bit of a flavor of that because Ethan's wife, Ludmila, like your wife, is from Moldova. We've talked to her a lot. And so we've learned more. I'm trying to even learn a little Romanian. Because her mom and dad are here. Yeah. And so
I should be doing more of the same. I know. Her family, her parents all the time is like, you need to learn And I'm like, my son is going to speak Romanian for sure. He's going to speak 3 languages, Russian, Romanian, English, and he will be fluent in 3 for sure. My wife only speaks Romanian and Russian to him, so that'll be interesting.
Ludmilla, the mom comes up to me. She's like 5 foot tall,
Yeah.
maybe 4'10", and she puts her chin right here.
5'1",
And she looks up at me. She goes, Romanian.
yeah.
And then so we kind of do sign language, and she makes all these wonderful dishes, and I'm the pickiest eater in the world. And I go, no, and she just can't figure out why I want to eat it.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
I love this kind of stuff.
But then, how do you attack?
I think you hit on a very, very, very strong point. We talk about this quite often. I think there's a few things in there that's why I'm taking notes over here, because there was a couple things that really hit me, and it's one is politics and church. Okay, I've been arguing this for 3 decades. It is, since my 20s. I've been going, listen, guys, you start seeing the flags in all the churches. You start, my nephew, love him to death. Is comes home, gets tattooed head to toe with Christian verses and tattoos, and you find out he's going to a social justice church. It's just basically it's Marxism. Yeah. And I'm that got me awake. I'm like, hold on a second, Marxism and Christianity just are absolutely incompatible. I mean, Jesus teaches individualism and so on. It just doesn't make sense. And you start getting to realize, gosh, they're taking our churches, man. Yeah. And they've been doing that for decades, and this is a smart move. Obama went to a Marxist church as well. You see how this impacts our culture. Religion, and when the religion becomes, Jesus is the Marxist idea, is absolutely toxic. The second thing that he talked about is, men in standing up. Now, I'm also president of Parents' Rights and Education. I work with Suzanne on that, and we do that. We're across the country. We've grown up really, really well. 40 plus chapters, having fun.
Coach, timeout.
Yeah.
Suzanne Gallagher, her husband Jack, great people. See them at Friday night at Washington County.
They're amazing people.
Parents' Rights and Education, look it up. They've been doing a fantastic job, working really hard. A lot of people are involved. I didn't know you were. I've done a little bit with them, but again, it's you got to know all the organizations out there, and then scope them out and see if it's
ParentsRightsandEducation.com.
There you go. I mean, so we'll send it to Suzanne. So.
Fantastic. Yeah, she's one of my favorite people on the planet. And her and I have this long conversation about politics constantly, because we're directing the ideology and the direction of the organization, and where do we stand on issues. And we always talk about it like, we get to men in a second, but we always talk about it like, we're not a Christian organization, but we're an organization of Christians, yeah. Right? We have a lot of our chapters are Jewish and Muslim and so on, because we definitely get aligned ideologically with a lot of people that are conservative, whatever religion you are. But the one thing that commonality is the men, right? First of all, we know who men are on our side of the fence. Okay, when you stand in your church and you say men stand up, we all know who that is. The other side doesn't for some reason. But what Suzanne and I always talk about is like, where are the men? Our organization is 95% women. It is older women that are standing up and doing this, and our guys are staying home and being silent. This is impacting our kids. This is impacting our sons and daughters, our sisters, our wives. We need to be part of our role of men is to be strong and to be and to fight for our society and our families. And if we're not doing that, shame on us. And I think that there's no excuse, like you're talking about. So most people probably don't realize how much is the indoctrination is in these schools. It's sometimes it's just exhaustingly frustrating when we have parents from around the country. They'll send us the materials. Like, my kid was given this. My kid was given this. My kid was given this. And cool, or was told this, or was told that they're bad because they're a white person or they're straight. And some of the stuff is just sick stuff. Like, if I showed this to a person in a park, I'd get arrested. Okay, and I should. Okay, and they're showing this to young kids. And you say, they're not doing that. Yeah, they are. 100%. And they think they're the good people. And if that doesn't piss you off and get you motivated to say, if you're not willing to protect a kid, then that's why all of my energy is shifted towards schools and focusing on kids. And in like 1776, it's veterans and kids. Yeah. And it's and quite honestly, one of the main reasons I'm veterans is stand up for kids. Yeah. Right? So we're getting strong men to stand out there and say, listen, and our group, what we're forming with Op 1776, is a group of amazing men that are just pissed off. And they're like, we're not going to stay silent anymore. Even if it means risking our careers. Even if it means ostracization from our friends. Even if it means a local church is going to say, what's wrong with you? Or my friends that go to soccer and their kids play together soccer are going to think I'm a jerk. Yeah. Or a Nazi or a bigot or a homophobe or a transphobe or whatever name they want to come up with. If you're afraid of that, you're a win. You need to stand up. If that overrides your interest in saying, I'm going to protect kids, you have something
Well,
wrong.
don't you think too, Rob? Again, Rob's back here. I know he's biting at the ask a question, but and I got a little game to play with you guys here in a few minutes before we finish up today. But when it comes to like somebody not liking you because of where you stood, I've been going through this a lot the last 6 years, and I always like being liked. You're a coach, you win, and people go, oh yeah, Coach Brown's a really good coach, blah blah blah. Then all of a sudden you got people calling you a racist at Safeway, and you're going, huh?
Been there.
And so, yeah, I know you have, and it's like I don't get where people get to that point where we've seen our society shift big time.
Yeah.
I had a lady at the local pool. Rob knows where it's at. It's she was in like some type of a women's class for yoga or something. I don't know. But she walks out the same time I do. It's a little misty rain. She's just wearing a t-shirt. She's a little bit of a taller, bigger gal, and I'm wearing a light t-shirt, and I just got done working out. It wasn't raining when we went in. It's just dark, and she comes up to me all of a sudden. And I'd seen her before, but I didn't remember her. She just goes, "You're a racist. You're a homophobic, racist bastard." And I went, I just had a good day. And I'm like, wow. I go, and what's your point? And so she says a few more things, and I just go, why would you say that? And so she says something, and I looked at her, and Rob knows kind of my mechanism is I just walk up to people, and not close up like you're close up, but like from me to Rob, I'll just look at them, I'll kind of point, I'll go, no. And they'll go, so then you're going to get their emotional response next. It's going to be, what? And I'll go, no, it's not true. And then you get their emotion and their anger at the same time. So that's their big punch. So it's like a left, right, left in boxing. Your right's going to be your big punch. Your left is a jab, then it's another short punch. And so then it's all they got. And then I point at them and I say, no, it's just not true. And then they come back with more emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have no more bullets in the gun. And then I'll just go, if you want to know the truth, ask me. But don't sit here and call me a name. Now there's 10 people now watching this whole interaction. I'm staying calm. I'm not trying to brag. I'm sitting there. I don't know what else to do with this lady. And I go, that's just not true. So if you have a question in there, ask me. Well, you left our school district broke. I go, no, we didn't. When we left, we had a forensic audit done, and the auditor said it was one of the best audits we'd ever seen in the state of Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
I said, we were flush with money. Well, no, you guys had this $2 million, whatever that you had.
What's to do with racism anyway?
No, that's not true. That's just not true.
Yeah.
That's true because do you know that in public schools money cycles in a 2-year period? Yeah. And so you were getting the low end of the curve, and it's gonna bounce back up. It's what it always does. And I said they're saying that so they can try to make us look bad. I said go back and look at your numbers, and you'll find that whoever. I said, who told you this? Well, one of my friends. I said, well, you better get better friends. I said, because that's just not true. I said, I wouldn't go around the town of Newburgh and I wouldn't just start making up stuff about you.
Yeah.
And so I just think, but back to men specifically, what advice would you give? And Rob, if you got something to add in here too, from your perspective, like Rob gets really upset because he doesn't look as good in a t-shirt as I do.
Yes.
But if we, from a men's perspective, to stand up, that's why we call it stand tall, take ground.
Exactly.
Stand up and actually do something. What would be your advice to the men out there?
Exactly what you're talking. I say stand up and speak out and change things. And you gotta stop worrying. We all want to be loved, like you said. We all want to. And I spend a lot of my life doing that. I'm a people pleaser by DNA. It's not in my DNA to be outgoing and bold and not. It takes a lot of conscious work and years of me going. This is more important than what you think. And this is more important than what some, especially a random person thinks of me. But I've even had to go as far as like what my family thinks. Yeah. I know when they look at me, several of them, what they think.
Yeah.
And that's tough.
Yeah.
And as a guy, you're like, your natural instinct is just to like, I'm just going to stay quiet about that because I'd rather have my, family harmony and that sort of thing. And I don't go out of my way to annoy people, especially in my family. But in public, I just got to the point where it's too important to stay silent, and you have to decide: are you, is your society, are your children's, are your community, is your country important enough for you to be a little bit uncomfortable? Yeah. My New Year's resolution this year, at the beginning of the year, and so far it's been pretty true. My whole thing. I have a statement on my computer. It says "seek discomfort." my whole thing is I'm trying to do things and push myself to where I do things that are normally not what I would say I would avoid.
Sure.
And part of that philosophy is exactly what we're talking about. Like, I have to remind myself at that moment, like I have a next door neighbor who's a retired school teacher, far left, and I've just had to say things once in a while where I'm like, because she's happy to do it, say it to me.
Yeah.
And for a couple of years, we would hang out in my boat or hang out in the house or wherever we were, and she would say it, and I'd be like, yeah, whatever, you know. Now I'll answer back because like I didn't start this,
yeah.
but I'm not going to back down from it because it's not, you know, you just came over and kicked me in the nuts, and and now what, I'm supposed to sit there and be okay with it.
Yeah.
And it's that philosophy it's destroying our society. I would say as men, we just have to have a look in the mirror, and we got to say, what can I do to improve my community around me? Because if you're not improving the community around you, then what are you doing?
Well, don't you think too on that, Rob? You anything?
Yeah, well, I was just going to add, but I mean, as we move to a different subject, but I mean, if you want to
Let me just finish and then go. I think, like when you're looking about your community, guys, there's so many things you get involved in.
Oh, yeah.
And I think as men, especially post-COVID, we really fell into that big trap of staying at home, doors shut, let your wife go get the groceries. We fall into that. We'll go out and work in a shop, or we'll just watch TV, watch football. And if we're going to go do anything, it's going to be by myself. And I think we've shut ourselves off. We need to be around other men. It's really important. That's why sports are such a fabulous thing. I'm a coach a long time, and you need to be around other men. Men just converse differently and talk. I thoroughly, enjoy when Rob's come over on Saturday morning, because I know we're going to talk about stuff that me and Judy just don't talk about.
100%.
And again, Rob and I don't always agree, which I love that, because we agree on most stuff in the conceptual thing. But
well, you like bacon, I like the ham.
Rob, I mean, we can move past it really quick, but I think if you're a man out there in your community and you're not going to church, lead your family to church. Go to church. If your wife doesn't want to go,
Organize.
she'll come home in 2 or 3 weeks. She'll start following your little cute Levi's out the door. The kids need to go. It's so important that they go. If you want to be a great guy, from the women I talk to, I have a lot of good friends. Judy and I talk to them. The women want strong men. They want Rip from Yellowstone. They want John Dutton from Yellowstone.
Yeah.
They want that.
Good women do.
Good women do.
Yeah.
They want that guy that's going to open the car door for them. They want you to make dinner.
Yeah.
They want you to take the lead on getting something done. Like right now, I'm going to not only have to fix my stove now, I've got to get a...
You should be making dinner.
I know. Yeah, we're going out to dinner.
My wife says it like she's like the old phrase is, she's very traditional, but she is the strongest woman I know. At the same time, she understands that she is she's like, you're the head of the household. She goes, but I'm the neck. Okay. She's like, your head doesn't move without me. But I understand that you're leading us, and you're the one who I depend on. You're the one I rely on. And but she's like, she won't let me cook or clean. I mean, that's her thing. Like, get out of my kitchen. But definitely, not all women are like that necessarily. But I do think we've allowed ourselves to get weak, and I think some of that, of course, go back to feminism and all these kind of things. But it is one of those things where you go, naturally we are, men fellowshipping and men getting together. There's strength in that. I said this very clearly. We have a joke up there in northern Idaho, especially, and I can tell you firsthand, men are waking up. We're getting a ton of it. I'm telling you, in this project we're putting together, it is. We're starting Conservative Men of America. It's one of our things, and it's all these guys that are, Dane's definitely leading that. It is a group of men that are strong, that are influential, that have had redemption stories, people that have changed something around it, that are willing to stand up and put their careers at stake and say, I'm standing up for this, get out of my way.
Yeah.
I'm going to do something about it. And why is this any less important than any other cause, right? And people are willing to stand up for other causes. Are kids not important enough?
Oh, heavens, yeah. I appreciate answering that question. I still have one more thing to do, but Rob got to go.
Well, so we got about 5 minutes left because we've been going for about an hour almost. Believe it or not, it's great. And I try to keep them to an hour. So my question for you: you're involved with all these organizations. What are some of the top 3 things that you got accomplished in 2025, and what are 3 things you're looking forward to getting accomplished in 2026?
Now, that was the best question of the day, right there.
That's a pretty good question.
That's the one vote I got. I say yes.
Rob's like Toby Keith. I'm as good as I once was once.
Yeah. But
'Cause
yeah,
that gets me the lead
what
in.
looking back, three
That's
things you
perfect.
got accomplished and three things you need to accomplish.
I would say 2025 was the biggest change year of my life, and that says a lot for a guy who's been divorced 3 times. It's been the biggest change of my life. We have been since day. I mean, and my wife has been amazingly strong while I've done this. I've been pushing away all of my commercial clients. I've been pushing down everything that wasn't. I've been turning down business and elections all over the place because we've been 100% focused, 24 hours a day since early this year, like mid-January. But like this is the year we can finally do a new project, something I've had on the back shelf for a decade. I'm not going to go into it too deep, but I said good amount of time for that. But this year has been the year of bringing everything that's been worked on for the last 30, 40 years, literally solidly for 35 years, together in a point. This is the year where we're calling in every favor. We're contacting every person I've ever known. We're saying we have to do something about this, and we're going to do it now because this is the time. And we cannot miss this opportunity. So many things are happening, and so many things in my life have led to this point. So then, including meeting Dane and going in and getting this group together, and it's like the final pieces, and you see them all come together just perfectly. I'm telling you, it's a huge sacrifice, and there's a huge amount at stake, and I'm putting my livelihood at stake in many ways to do this. But nothing's been more fulfilling so far. Every day I get up, I'm excited about the next thing. It's stressful, it's tiring, and we're getting there. 26 to go forward to that is when it all happens. We're trying to get everything ready to go for school board elections. That's our main focus, county and below, but mainly for school board elections across this country. Without going into details too far, we're starting a thing called Civics Box, teaming up with Operation 7076 and a period of other single service companies that we're putting together to answer the questions and be the solution providers on mass scale to take back school board elections around this country. There's 95,000 of them. We should be with ideologically aligned districts. Two-thirds of those should be ours. We should have 65,000 elections out there, school board elections, just by looking at the district and what aligns with the community. We've only got about 30. Okay, there is another 35,000 seats out there that we need to be picking up, and that alone, you have no idea how much that impacts your local existence. 40% of your money goes to the local district, most of that to the schools. That is where your kids and your future, and that's where everything's happening. Controlling those school boards controls the curriculum. It controls everything that happens. I can tell you story after story after story of the parents that have said, I don't know what happened to my kid. And I'm like, I do. Okay. People say propaganda doesn't work. 100% it works. Okay. And it is good or bad propaganda. And we need to have good propaganda to offset the bad propaganda. Okay. And we can propagandize good things, moral things, just things, what is right. Okay. And things that have been proven for thousands of years to work in our culture. Christian values are a good thing. It's not Christianity, it's Christian values. And those are something we should not apologize for, and we should be promoting them everywhere. We have an opportunity, and we're getting all these organizations together, and this is the battle cry, essentially. And I'm putting my life on the line for it. And I'm going all in. If I lose my house, I'll lose my house to do it, but I'm doing it. We're going all in. We're trying to take back school boards across this country. We're going to be encouraging people, and tons of people are getting involved in this, to stand up. You either run for election, or you volunteer and support somebody who is, or you donate money to make that happen. One of those three calls to action, and you do it. And you want to know the answer to do it? Everyone can do that. Because it could be as simple as, I'm going to train you how to make phone calls.
So Dave, you ran for school board. Like, did you have any of this resources when you did it?
No, heavens no. And there's another whole level about the Oregon Department of Education and how they have a plan for every school board member, and it's a backwards plan that fits their agenda. And so this is a deep subject, but I appreciate what you're saying because, Rob's seen the inside of the school. Judy and I have 54 years working, another 4 years on the school board, so many site councils and things. And it's really too bad. I always say, like, when something's not working, a coach or a business or the schools, they work so hard to not make it work well and stuff. But I have one thing to wrap up, Rob. We got about 2 more minutes.
Yep.
This has been a blast. We're doing this again. We'll just do it on the split screen. But I have a question for you guys. It'll be a little bit difficult because we all like to talk. So going a little bit quick. Haven't done this one before. So I'm going to say a man's name. Just going to stick with men. And I just want your 1 to 5 word response. So you don't get a long response here. It could be something that's stupid or smart.
So when Dave never gives a short response, just want to let you know.
I'm not answering.
Okay.
This is for you two. I'll ask the question. So this is why Rob sometimes I work really hard to make him look good.
Nice.
So now, if we go to this question, I'm just going to say it. I'll let you go first, Rob. You want the mic? I can chip in on this mic.
Yeah.
I'm,
let's do it.
I'm, This is something we just had up here.
All right, we'll do it this way.
This is off the cuff, you guys. Oh, there goes our 10. Okay, first guy that I'm going to say 1 to 5 word response. First guy is Joe Biden.
You want me to answer first?
Yep.
Whew. 5 words.
Or less.
Yeah, a disaster. A useful idiot.
Say 3 words, go.
Terrible legacy. Just a terrible legacy.
All right. Next one up is I'm going to. I had him in my head just now, but I'm going to go back to Bill Clinton.
I mean, just an old school schmuck. But he's policy wise, not the worst.
I think I could have really benefited from what we call in the military saltpeter.
Okay. Well. All right. I'm going to say President Trump for last, but J.D. Vance.
Man, I love that guy. I had a chance to meet him at CPAC. That's the side thing, and I had a chance to talk to him for a little bit. Pretty amazing guy. The ultimate redemption story, American redemption story.
Yeah. Wow.
Jury's still out.
Jury's
like
still out.
like it. I'm in basically leaning towards the corner, but I think he just has to
You
show me a
will
little
be
bit more.
won over.
What's that?
You will be won over.
Well, he just needs to show me a little bit more.
Marco Rubio.
Mixed feelings. I'd support him wholeheartedly. There are some things I'm concerned about. Not more than 5 words.
I'm impressed to be able to get what he's done, with President Trump's help, to get some very major things taken care of. I mean, it takes some heavy lifting.
Oh, he's been very successful. I agree.
Barack Obama.
The introduction to Joe Biden.
Wow. Okay.
Clinton too.
Okay. Well, I'd sure like to jump in on this one, but I won't. Pete Hegseth.
I don't think the Clintons and Obamas get along at all. What's that, Claire?
Pete Hegseth.
Pete Hegseth? Oh, man, what a man. I adore that man. I'll say the right person at the right time.
Okay.
A little showboaty.
Okay.
And I think in the military culture that gets a little difficult.
Oh, I think it's a standard expected DNA. All the best military leaders in the world have all been that way, historically.
But they weren't Fox commentators. They were actually war people who were like led divisions.
I get
you.
you.
I mean,
I get you.
yeah.
Personality wise, like even dealing about Trump, it's like, narcissistic, jerk, showy. The most successhave military leaders in history have been very similar to Pete.
Yeah, Patton was a
There you
jerk.
go.
Yeah.
Let's get the gloves. Gavin Newsom.
Oh, jeez, slimy, overrated. He won't win.
A joke. Just feel like he's a joke.
Okay.
Fake. He's empty suit.
Yeah.
As I bring all these people up, I'm just going to end with a couple of fun ones here. But Greg Gutfeld.
Not my kind of humor, honestly, but I adore him.
Okay.
I think he's definitely built a niche. A niche that didn't really exist. Humor and conservatism and, definitely a niche that wasn't really there.
Okay. I got 2 more, and then we'll stop. You guys are, I don't know if you're old enough yet, but I'm just going to go straight up. Johnny Bench, Cincinnati Reds.
You're gonna kill me. I'm not a sports guy that much. I do like baseball, but I'm not doing that. I have no opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rob knows. He's from St. Louis.
Yeah.
You're St. Louis.
My opinion is, I think he's more remembered for his spray paint commercials than anything did on the baseball field.
Oh, that is such crap, Rob.
Yeah,
Johnny Bench is simply not even close. He's the greatest catcher to ever play Major League Baseball. And there's been some
Hold
good
my
ones.
beer, Yogi Berra says. 5 world championships.
You get Yankee down there.
St. Louis them too. He's from St. Louis. Yogi
You are
Berra.
right. You're right.
Rob, you need to go for a walk. Okay, last one, Donald Trump.
The ultimate right guy at the right time. I don't care what anybody says. The best president ever.
I'm
You
gonna
can
say,
hate him all you want.
I'm gonna say transformative.
Okay.
He's taking a huge mess, and he's transforming it into Something a lot better than what we had.
Anybody that, even all the, I mean, I hear more criticism from conservatives than anybody else, right? A lot of times, other than that, obvious TDS. And everything they criticize them for is personality based, not results based.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hear any results criticisms, and that tells me everything.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna jump in and I'm gonna let you have more than 5 words. I'm gonna give them back to you, and I'm just gonna have you guys take a few minutes and talk about my favorite subject, TDS.
Well, TDS stands for Trump Derangement Syndrome, and it is one of the driving forces behind so much conflict in our country. There's been other people in our country that have had a major impact on the population, but nothing like Donald Trump. So, yeah, I honestly think that I do think President Trump is transformative, and he had to be him because we didn't need another politician. We didn't need another 50-year politician. We needed somebody that had, business savvy, money savvy. And, I've talked to so many people. I have not met him, but I've met people and we've interviewed people that have been in his presence. And all I hear from all those people, and these are smart people, these aren't, kiss uppers. They're like, he is legitimately nice to the people around him. He can be tough, but you don't get to be a billionaire in New York without being tough. So.
And I don't care if he's nice. Let's be honest. I mean, some people's like, I don't care if you think he's a jerk and asshole and something. But I think, I told you earlier, it's like, my phrase is, make local loud again, right? It is, I want to make sure that I don't care about personality. I don't care about, I care about results. And I don't know if anybody else could have. You can swap any of your friends. Reagan couldn't do what he's doing right now. He's not the right person. He wouldn't work right now. He would be just bulldozed. I just think, not that he's a perfect person by any means. I don't care. It's results driven. I was saying earlier, when the purge comes, if they don't knock on my door first, I know I wasn't loud enough. Okay, and so the best people in history are the ones that are the loudest, the ones that are unapologetic. They're the ones that go down in history as the change makers, for the good or worse, by the way. And if they weren't screaming, and because all the insanity on the left right now, all the just unbelievable ridiculousness, like the complete rejection of facts in society, the truth is no longer even a discussion on the left. They don't care about truth; it's emotion, 100% provable truth. If those people are pissed off, you're a friend of mine.
Yeah, I think, when you go, Rob, go ahead.
Well, just before we go, because right now I wanted to, we talked about the shirt before. You want to give us a plug on the shirt? What's going on with that?
Well, that's kind of what I was talking about earlier. This is kind of just preemptive. It's we're still in process. This is the concept. It's called Civics Box. That's where we're teaming up, like I said, Op 7776 and do that single line. We're going to be running mass scale elections. We're going to be recruiting. You're going to hear about us in the coming months. We're starting to sign on organizations, and we're going to have very soon. We're going to have a landing page go up, literally within the next few days, to start getting people to sign up and get queued up and get ready to go. If you're thinking about running for office, if you haven't thought about it, do. School board, it doesn't take that much time, right? But the huge amount of impact. School board elections, or help somebody who is. Learn how to help local elections. We'll train you. We'll do for free in this organization, right? We'll train you. We'll help you win elections. We'll help you get connected and organized. And you want to know what to do for politics? This will be the case. If you're in this, it's a network of people that are like-minded ideologically. We're going to be able to help you say, hey, if I want to do this, we're going to give you the place to do it. If you want to know, if you've ever asked yourself the question, I don't know what to do in politics, I don't know how to make a change, this is it.
You guys do know that this is a picture of Teddy Roosevelt,
yeah,
president a long time ago, well over 100 years ago. We were just back in D.C., and here's a fun fact about Teddy Roosevelt. I'm a history guy. Teddy built the first tennis court at the White House. He had 6 kids, and he wanted the little midget to be busy. And so he built the first tennis court there, and it was lasted for a long time.
Survived an assassination attempt, too. Got shot.
And obviously him and his wife liked each other. They had 6 kids. But at the same time, he was the first of many, not President Trump's the first guy to remodel the White House, so everybody knows that.
20 times now.
I mean, there was a lot of swimming pools put in and things like that. And Roosevelt, Teddy, not Teddy, but Franklin had that pool. No, might have been Wilson.
I can't wait to see the big, beautiful bar.
But they jacked it up to 93 degrees. It was a heated pool for therapy. Yeah, I mean, and what President Trump's really doing, I mean, it's not nice Mar-a-Lago. He doesn't need that. It's something, it's amazing that we have world leaders from the United States and they're in a tent.
Right, and he's building this. You're thinking it's going to be done. It's not going to be done until he's out of office anyway. He's building it for himself.
Yeah.
Like he's not going to be in office. This is so ridiculous. And he's paying. The first president ever going to pay for it himself,
No.
and it doesn't take a salary. And people, it's like I just don't get. I don't want to sit here and like I don't love everything about him. Again, it comes back to I just don't care.
Yeah, and I guess wrapping up right today. I know Rob's really pushing us. We got to get done. Having you here, today is awesome. Thank you so much for, coming
Absolutely.
on. We got to do this again on split screen.
Anytime.
When you're up there in Benedict, nowhere.
We got to come up and see us there too.
Yeah, I know. Well, we're going to come over to Idaho because we had several friends that we both have moved to Idaho, and we're like, we don't want to move, but I do want to come visit.
My whole town is retired cops from Oregon, man. It's pretty much it's what it is.
We will be there. I promise. We'll
Okay.
come visit.
Fantastic.
But if you can go to 1776.com, is what you said.
Well, Op776 is Op776.com is the main one for parentsrightseducation.com. That's then we're going to be going to civicsbox.com coming up here soon. So civic CIVIX box.com. We're going to have a landing page up there very soon. By the time this comes out, probably.
Awesome.
We're at Stantall. Come to StantallWithDaveBrown.com. Our website's up and coming. It's been something we really want to have be super active, and we want to support great stuff like what you're doing. That's one of our biggest goals through Stand Tall is to make people aware of what's going on in education, politics, Jesus, sports, and people. Rob, appreciate you a ton. Sorry for the
One last little plan.
Go.
Parentsrightseducation.com. Go there. You can take a score ideologically, and it'll get you in the loop for us to get ready for school board. Sorry.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
Absolute
Get
pleasure.
involved in something out there in your community right away. And again, go to Rob. Give us the rundown on where they got to go.
Yeah, go to Spotify, go to Apple CarPlay, Apple Podcasts, and make sure you support Op 1776 and the parental rights for sure.
Yeah, that's everything going on out there. Get involved. If you don't get involved, who is? This is Stan Tall with Dave Brown. We're out. Peace.